to try to replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice, because unfortunately we're in a global system where white supremacy dominates all areas of activity. So we need to replace that system with a just system.
Define white supremacy.
White supremacy means people who believe through speech, thought, and action that they should dominate, control, and mistreat people classified as non-white. As they said it, the people who put white supremacy in action, they specifically said that they were doing that. They specifically said we're going to create a system of white supremacy where the people who are classified as non-white will be the inferiors. And they put these things into law, they put them into practice, and they put them into military. They are dominated by the white supremacists. White supremacists, and I separate white people and white supremacists. We have white, non-white, and white supremacists. The white supremacists are the smartest people on the planet. I 100% agree with that.
Wow. And God made them that way?
We're victims of white supremacy, and we haven't been smart enough to figure that out. So a lot of white supremacists, they are evil.
But they're still controlling dumb people.
A lot of Jews who do practice white supremacy, therefore,
and are there blacks in that too?
If they're practicing white supremacy, are they really Jewish? Because white supremacy is its own religion.
Are blacks included in that category as white supremacy as well?
You can't be a black white supremacist.
You said they were black Jews.
Right, but
I
didn't say in the black Jews.
But none of them are white supremacists?
No, but
blacks are a part of the white supremacist movement.
Well, they're black collaborators. They're black collaborators with white supremacy, but they can't be white supremacists themselves. They're still victims of white supremacy.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't complain to the white supremacists. All of my messages are for the victims of white supremacy.
Right, but your whole thing is about the white man.
The white supremacists, not the white man, the white supremacists.
Right, it's still about men. They are white men.
No, the white supremacists, because you have white female supremacists too.
So men and women, white.
White supremacists.
Right.
Let's be very clear.
What does it feel like to be a man who believe that these people are holding you back?
Right. I feel like a victim of white supremacy.
So you feel like a victim?
I'm a victim. I'm a victim of white supremacy. Yeah.
And so are they holding you back financially?
Holding me back financially? Well, they can.
Are they?
They can.
Are they?
They can.
No, but are they?
They can.
Well, I didn't ask you if they could.
They can. If I get too powerful, I'm in a prison called white supremacy that's global. So we're allowed, certain black people are allowed to have certain resources, but they know they can take it back from certain black people.
Are they holding Tariq Nasheed back financially?
I'm in a system where they can hold me back.
But right now they're not holding you back.
Well, they can hold me back.
Are they holding you back?
Define holding me back. I'm successful because I understand white supremacy. In the system of white supremacy, they can murder me with impunity right now. Figured out how to replace the system of white supremacy with justice yet. I don't know what you mean though. Because again, I'm in a system of white supremacy, so I'm not as smart. Because you have access to the white supremacists. You're close with them, so you're a little smarter than me.
I'm as smart as you are.
You're a little smarter than me. Fallen by meaning if you're victims of white supremacy, yes, we have fallen. Yeah.
Is it possible for human beings to turn away from God?
Yeah, the white supremacists, they've turned away from God. So they're a very clear example, and we are now worshiping them. We're subject to the white supremacists. So yes, we worship white supremacy now, unfortunately.
You worship the white man?
No, unfortunately, brothers like you, and I'm not disparaging you, Jesse, but too many people collaborate with the white supremacists, and that's been one of our problems.
And when you say collaborate, in what way?
Collaborate by regurgitating their talking points and allowing themselves to be shields for the white supremacists. And that's been the thing that has kept white supremacy in power. I mean, he's a victim of white supremacy himself. He's a collaborator because he's subjugated to white supremacy. I'm just giving an example.
Sheriff Clark is a victim of white supremacy?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, the white supremacists came in the middle of that, unfortunately, and there was infighting, so they would sell their prisoners to the white supremacists, some hardcore white supremacists. We're all victims of white supremacy. The negative light, because the white supremacist media portrays that. It's white supremacy, of course. It's systematic white supremacy. It's not a belief, that's a reality. A lot of times we call it something else because the white supremacists, they like to create false opposition. And really, it's all the same thing. We use terms like segregation, but that's white supremacy. Use terms like Jim Crow, that's white supremacy. Use terms like fascism, that's another word for white supremacy. All of these things are the same.
They call it what it was, segregation.
Which is white supremacy.
They knew that.
You do know segregation was white supremacy, right?
They knew that the laws were bad. That separated, that under the Jim Crow laws, that white
Jim Crow is white supremacy, Jesse. You're going back to white supremacy.
It was a government that created those laws.
It was the
white
government.
people didn't create those laws. The government did.
The government was
Which
run
is-
by white
but
supremacists.
Let me just
Jesse.
finish the point, though.
But the government was run by white supremacists. The government is not some
Hold on.
mindless
How many times are
entity.
you going to say white supremacy?
Because you're
man?
using all these
You've
words and
already
you're
said
talking
it
about the
100
same,
times.
but you're using different terms for white supremacy, though, brother. You understand that? Jim Crow was white supremacy.
Okay.
They still were subjugated to white supremacy. When you're around hardcore white supremacy, and either they're going to comply with white supremacy or they're going to rebel. Now, you and I, we grew up in the same state, basically. I rebel against white supremacy, and you complied with it.
I want to know exactly what do you want from white people?
What I want for them to stop practicing white supremacy and replace the system of white supremacy with justice. I want them to redistribute the maldistributed resources that come with systematic white supremacy. I want them to punish.
You want reparations? Does that mean reparations?
You can call it whatever, meaning white supremacists.
I grew up under the Jim Crow laws.
White supremacy.
Law.
The white
so that blacks
supremacist
would be
law
treated-
then, and they still were dominated by white supremacy because they were still under the
Let
system
me
of white
ask this.
supremacy, was still getting beat up by the white supremacists, Jesse. So system of white supremacy until we learn how to produce justice. This is why victims of white supremacy have to get codes in order to replace the system of non-justice, which is white supremacy, with a system of justice. We just can't keep collaborating with white supremacy because he learned how to hustle white supremacists. He knew how to get out there and get all that money from those white supremacist philanthropists, stand white supremacists. There's a lot of, he couldn't stand white supremacists. And he got that money and he
That's not true about him.
Oh, that is
Because
true.
it's unfortunate.
Just like you're hustling the white supremacists too. And
It's
that's why I like you. That's why I'm here, because I know you know how to hustle these white supremacists by regurgitating their talking points. You're good the way you hustle
What
these white supremacists.
do you believe about, do you love all white people?
Just not the white supremacists. I love white people,
But
but
not-
not white supremacists. I do not like white supremacists.
So you don't love all white people?
Not the white supremacists.
Do you love all black people?
No, I don't like too many black people who collaborate with white supremacists. I think that
Americans.
Donald Trump, who sat here and said that white supremacist terrorists were very fine people.
For the audience, I want to know what you refer to.
Alt-rights or white supremacy
And
Nazis.
so they showed up,
Were the white supremacists wrong for killing people?
you're not-
Always deny white supremacy. Always deny it.
There's no such thing as racism.
The name of the game
Hold
is
on
to
just a moment.
deny white supremacy, disparage black people for the white supremacists, and deflect into the Democrats and the liberals.
all right, he promoted white supremacy.
Oh, well, Donald Trump has been promoting white supremacy all of his adult career. Donald Trump has had housing discrimination against black people going back to the 70s. He has job discrimination going
Amazing.
back to I mean, it's not
That
amazing.
is so amazing.
Would
Would
a
a white supremacy do good?
That's either true or it's not. I mean, it's documented
Would a
facts.
white
though.
supremacist do good toward black people?
Okay, there you go. So
you-
white supremacy is a bad law,
do you
and
dis-
we should be against that. And I agree with you, Jesse.
you dis-
I 100% agree with you.
Do you
See, we're on the
discriminate?
same page.
Do you discriminate?
Discriminate how?
Do you discriminate?
I'm not in a position to discriminate against anybody.
Do you discriminate?
I'm not in a position to systematically discriminate against
So let
anybody.
me ask you-
We're talking
I'm
about a
asking you a
system.
simple question.
We're talking about a system.
Do you discriminate?
You haven't defined discriminate as
Amazing.
far as systematic.
So
How can I systematically discriminate?
let me
against
ask
somebody?
again.
Jesse,
Would a
Jesse,
white supremacist
Jesse,
do
Jesse,
good by
don't
black
oversell
people?
it, Jesse. How can me discriminate against somebody systematically when I don't have a system to support me?
Is that a yes or no about do you
Jesse,
discriminate?
Jesse, how can I discriminate systematically when there's no system to support me?
Okay, I want to move
All right,
on.
go, let's move on because
Would a white supremacist do good by black people?
they haven't so far, so no.
So they
the
won't.
definition of a white supremacist is to not do good
And
by
you
black
believe
people.
that the
That's
great
the definition. You can't be a white supremacist and do good by black people.
And you believe that
As a
you
collective.
can't be a white supremacist
and do good
by black
because
people.
Systematically,
Okay.
you have to keep black people collectively in a certain position. Now, what they'll do,
Amazing.
they'll get an individual black person, and they'll try to shower them with gifts or whatever. They'll let an individual black
So-
person live in the house.
So you believe that President Trump, the great white hope, is a white supremacist, right?
I suspect that he is. Make sure, man, you're not bowing down to white supremacy for them pretending that they did something for you that they really didn't do.
Do you support them?
It depends on what you mean by feminist, because when we look at
Whatever
the first,
they mean,
all
do
right.
you support them?
The early wave of feminism, no, because the thing is they weren't really practicing feminism. They were practicing another form of white supremacy, like the Elizabeth Stantons and the Susan B. Anthonys. These women were noted white supremacists based on their anti-black views. So a lot of them use feminism to really strengthen systematic
How
white
about
supremacy.
today's feminists?
Well, the thing
Do
is,
you support them?
it's very cloudy.
Is your wife a feminist?
We haven't defined what a feminist is. You keep saying
Is she
those
any
women who
form
believe in
of a
them.
feminist?
I don't know what your definition of a
Whatever
feminist
your
is.
definition is of a feminist.
Well, no, because
is your wife a feminist?
By my definition, the feminist movement is a movement to help white women strengthen systematic white supremacy, unfortunately.
So whatever
So
form,
my wife ain't that.
but she is a feminist.
My wife is another victim of white supremacy like her husband.
So it doesn't know your wife is not a feminist?
You can't be a feminist if you're a victim of white supremacy. How are you going to help another group and you're victimized?